Hello, Chad. Glad to see you. I look forward to our meeting in Moscow at our seminar, and our participants want to know more about your furniture business. Tell us about some things about it. When did you start it? Who are your customers? And how do you develop it in our challenging time?
Hi, Sergey. Good to see you again. Glad to be a part of the program and look forward to seeing you in a short couple of weeks there in Moscow. Yes, CMT Home, my business, is a global consulting business throughout the furniture industry. We deal with retail, we deal with wholesale, we deal with sourcing, quality assurance, and many things throughout the furniture industry. My customers range from Russia, from Ukraine, from the Netherlands, from China, Vietnam, and even India. And a lot of what we do is we go out and we help companies. We help companies from the retail side of things, from the wholesale side of things, but we dive deep into their processes, their management structure, and we try to improve their businesses. And what we do is we go in and we give an in-depth consultation of their business, and then we help them. And a lot of that, was developed through networking from past colleagues, past companies I've been associated with, and other connections throughout the industry, because we want to offer unique services that are quite difficult to find in the industry.
Yeah,
And it's a very interesting, it's an ever-changing industry in the market.
uh-huh. And are there many competitors? How do you deal with them?
Yes, I mean, there are a lot of competitors, but there's not a lot of specialists. There's a lot of people that like to compete, for the same thing, but they try to be very non-specific to the customer's needs. So the way we deal with it is that we offer a low price on specific services from an a la carte menu. We let the customer choose what they want from us, and then we go out and propose a plan, a program for them that fits their business and not something that we try to force on them.
Okay. Will you share your secrets of successful competition with our participants of seminar?
Oh, absolutely. I'm free to give my knowledge and my experience. I like sharing that with people because, again, I always want to help where I can help and give, expert advice for people looking for, that edge in the business.
Okay. Thank you. It will be very interesting.
Sure.
And what do you think are the most promising furniture niches now?
Well, definitely we talk about online sales. Online sales continue to grow globally. Online sales are becoming, more prominent in the industry. Online sales are starting to really lead the industry. And it's really starting to dictate consumer habits, shopping at home, being able to, have many, many variants in one place. I think the other thing that's really coming in our industry is virtual reality technology, where now you can go into a smaller store and actually see more assortment, and you can actually view your own home, in the virtual reality equipment. So it's really bringing the home into the store. So I really think online sales and technology are leading the way now in the industry as far as the new niches going forward.
Thus, you can involve customers in the activity when they get in shop and can see how this furniture can be in their home. That's
You're
main
correct.
idea of it.
Well, and also, a real benefit is having that sales consultant be in the customer's home without being there. So the sales consultant will be able to visualize and understand, the consumer's style, the consumer's space, because a lot of times the consumers don't know what they want. So they're looking for someone to help them with that information.
Okay. And do many American firms try to have VR in their shops now? Or just it's the beginning of it?
It's just the beginning, but guys like Ashley are already designing their new store layouts because of virtual reality, and they're reducing the footprint. So the stores are becoming smaller, but in multiple numbers, they're putting more stores in more cities now. They can put smaller stores in with the technology to offer the customer, all the items that they sell.
It's very interesting, and I just want to know, what do you think about this phenomenon in the American market as universal mattresses? Casper developed very quickly, and now there are many similar players, and even in Germany appeared.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this whole, roll up, mattress, delivering it to your door, it's a great trend. And here's the thing, most consumers, they don't like going to a mattress store, or they don't like really going to a furniture store to shop for mattresses. It's very confusing. And there's a lot of different variants, and a lot of different price points. And I think these new mattresses now, are bringing the playing field a lot more closer, where the consumers are not having to make big choices. They're very sharp.
They don't want to think a lot about.
No. The wife says, we need a new mattress. The husband says, I don't want to go find one. So he goes online and he says, hey, I can have one tomorrow, or maybe even the next day. And what's great is it shows up, at your door. There's really, you don't need delivery people. You don't need anybody to set it up. It enrolls itself. And the quality seems to be very, very good for the price. So, I think for a mattress point of view, I think people will buy mattresses more often now because of this. Before, nobody really buys a mattress until they probably move, or they, do some reconstruction in their home or something. Typically that mattress is your mattress almost forever. But now I think that trend is really going to help mattress sales, and it puts a lot of pressure, on the normal mattress manufacturers now. So what we see happening in the U.S. is that every single mattress manufacturer now has, this compact mattress. So everybody's manufacturing this style now because they know that's in demand.
I see. And what directions would you advise to develop in the furniture business?
Well, again, social media is really leading the way in the furniture business, because today, consumers want to be designers. They want to be able to create their own rooms that look like a magazine, or look like a television show or a movie. And social media helps people with this. And social media helps reach consumers every day without going to the store. So I think the social media part is really a great way to develop in the furniture industry. Again, technology, it's very important. We talked about online sales. We talked about VR technology. Technology in general. You need to be able to take your phones and be able to shop and be able to make decisions. So anything that's interactive, whether it be social media, whether it be technology, I think is very important for our future.
Okay, I see. Thank you. And what do you think about such trend that Russian furniture market now is not in very good conditions, and American furniture market show growth? Why Why is so the difference? Maybe our furniture makers don't do things which can help them to increase sales.
Well, let's start first with, the Russian market, which I have experience in. I was there for quite a few years. The one thing that's much different between Russia and the United States, obviously, is the amount of time the industry has been there. Developed, furniture industry in Russia is less than 30 years, since the fall of the Soviet Union. So it's a new industry. It's still very young. It's still very fresh. And older consumers, are still in that trend where they like what they have forever. Younger consumers will start to lead the way in the Russian market. Developing trends, bringing fashion into the business, I think is very important. But the living space itself, the manufacturers have to also understand the space that they're designing for. Even when we try to bring, American furniture into Russia, it doesn't always work just from a size point of view. So it's also very important that manufacturers understand, kind of what the space is that they're selling to. But I think the biggest difference, again, consumers in Russia don't necessarily think that they always need new furniture as often as Americans. Americans are in debt. Most Americans have a lot of debt. They've taken a lot of credit. They like to buy. What makes an American feel good is buying something. Russians, are more about saving money, about making sure that they're protected for the future. They're more conservative. Americans somewhat out of control sometimes when it comes to spending. So the industry takes advantage of that in the U.S. So that's a big difference between the two countries as well.
But I heard good news from you. As we are fresh, young market, we have good perspectives.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. And those young consumers will lead the way, going forward. And that's where, manufacturers, retailers, they need to be listening and watching, those younger consumers because that's their future.
Chad, could you say a few words about the program that you prepared for the participants of the seminar on November in Moscow?
Yes. We're going to be covering a lot of topics, a lot of important topics, a lot of interesting topics. And hopefully, they will help reveal, clarify, explain, and hopefully confirm, many of the successful strategies within the U.S. furniture industries. And, some of those topics that we'll be covering on the program, is like domestic manufacturing in the United States. What's going on? Obviously, a lot of that has left and went offshore, in Asia. But manufacturing is coming back. And why is it coming back? Well, it's coming back because consumer trends are changing. The buying habits are changing. People don't want to wait as long to get their furniture anymore. Prices are going up in Asia. And people want custom things. They want things that fit their style. It's not necessarily exactly how they see it in the store. Maybe they want to make some changes. So we'll cover domestic manufacturing, which is a very important topic going on in America today. The other thing that we'll cover is, what tools are we using to attract the customers to the stores? What's bringing them in? And where are those interests? And what are the stores doing to attract, more consumers, new consumers, and a wide range of things and tools that they can use to do that. We will also cover, development of sales of furniture in the future. What is going to go on 10 years from now, 20 years from now? What do we see? What what is interesting for our industry as it's ever changing. You know, what are those trends, and what are the things that that we'll see in the future. So we'll talk about that. Another very important thing is organization of the retail sales department. You know, what does the structure look like? You know, if you were to look at it today versus tomorrow, you know, what do you need? How many do you need? And what are the practices, you know, of that sales department? Because most people want to understand, you know, number of people. How many people should they have? How many days should they work? You know, what is the process that they go through? Which brings me to another topic that we'll be covering is indicators. You know, methods of accounting and evaluation of what is going on in the store, and making sure that the performance is there. Because, you know, a lot of people are not really, you know, looking at the indicators to understand, you know, their business and going in depth and looking, you know, at the data. The data is very important. And without the data, you're never really going to know what's truly going on in your stores. And we'll be covering that very in-depthly of you know, key indicators and making sure that their methods are correct in tracking their business. And also, you know, we'll be covering many, many more topics that will have to do with, you know, USA versus Russia, you know, my experience in Russia and using my opinions and what helped me be successful in Russia. And, you know, we'll be covering a lot of things with questions and answers. You know, I'm sure that our guest will come to us with some questions that, you know, we can even go more in depth with certain topics. And we'll cover many things.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. Very, very interesting things. And I want to listen about it in our seminar. It will be, I think it will be great. So waiting for you.
Yes, and I can't wait to be back. And I was just there about a month ago. I'm currently in Asia now doing some work here, but I'll be going back to the U.S. on Monday, and then there for a couple of weeks, and then coming to see you guys.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much for your words, and we'll see you in November in Moscow.
All right, Sergey. Thank you. Good to talk to you. See you soon.
Yes. See you soon.
Okay.